Christianity alone. You can't do spirituality alone. It doesn't work. There's no such thing as this Lone Ranger Christianity where I can do it on my own. I don't need anybody. I'm just going to live myself that way. It doesn't work that way. So why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about family? Why are we talking about church? Why are we talking about the sense of having to do things with people? Ultimately, it's a call to membership. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 19 says, you are a member of God's family and you belong in God's household with every other believer. See, there's three keys, three key truths to this. Number one, the church is a family. Everybody say a family. And number two, God expects you to be a member of the local church or the local family. And number three, a Christian without a family is a contradiction. It doesn't work, you see. Now, you become a Christian by committing yourself to Christ. That's the easy part. We all know that. But you become a member of God's family or the church by committing yourself to other Christians. And that's what so many other people are lacking. It's this idea of community, of family, that we're here for each other to do things, a life among believers where people are responsible both to and for one another. Acts describes the church this way. Acts chapter 2:44. It says this, now all who believed were together and all had all things in common. And they sold their possessions and goods and they divided them among all, and anyone who had, and so no one had any need. So continuing daily in one accord in the temple and breaking bread from house to house, they ate food with gladness and simplicity of heart, praising God, having favor with all the people. And the Lord had added to the church daily those who were being saved. See, the responsibility, it says to love one another. A new commandment I give to you, that you would love one another as I have loved you. To love one, to serve one another. I mean, Galatians 5, for you, brethren, have been called to freedom. Only do not use freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love, serve one another. You see, we all need one another. We really do. We can't do it alone. I mean, 1 Corinthians, one of the most famous passages in the Bible, talking about the church as a body. And it says, for as a body there are many members, but all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ. For in fact, the body is not one member, but made of many. If the foot should say, because I am not a hand, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? And if the ear should say, because I am not an eye, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? If the whole body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing be? And if the whole were hearing, where would the sense of smelling be? But now God has set the members, each one of them in the body, just as He had pleased. Now most of that is self-explanatory. That makes sense right in and of itself. But there are people today who come to this church every single week and just say, well, it doesn't really matter if I don't show up. You know, I'm not needed, or you leave it to the other people to do stuff. Or like, you know, I'm just me. It doesn't really matter. Did you read verse 18? Verse 18. God has set the members, each one of them, in the body just as who is pleased. See, I don't take that verse, I don't take anything in the Bible lightly. But that verse isn't there by accident. You are not here by accident. If you are here and you've made this your home church, God has placed you here. You're here for a reason. You're part of this family for a reason, and you have a part to play. Whether you know it yet or not, you have an important, integral part to play in this church. It's important beyond belief. See, every single person sitting in this room, every single person sitting in this room, and those who are shopping in the United States, can't forget them, is an important member of this family and has a very, very important part to play. And that part is not to watch. That part is to participate. You know what the funny thing is? The reason why churches aren't doing well, and maybe why the church in the past may have not done so well, is because not everyone's pulling their weight. Not everyone's playing their part. The load falls on a few people, and those few seem to do everything, even though they're not called to do it, so they get burnt out, and they say, I don't want to serve anymore. Come on, is anyone in here? You don't have to put your hands up. Ryan. Put his hand up. So I shouldn't have put my hand up. But isn't that the truth? So you go to church, you find one person who says, yeah, I'll help out, and it's like, oh my God, make them everything, right? Make them this, and make them that, and make them do this, and make them usher, and make them... And then obviously it doesn't work. And the only reason that happens, the only reason churches fall short is because that sort of things happen. Not everyone is doing the part they're called to play. You see, we need one another. Tell the person beside you, say, I need you. I need you. I need you. And to make yourself feel a little better, say, you need me. You need me. Here's an example. Volume 5.
Excited about the idea of teamwork.
And today we're going to take the idea of teamwork and paint you a beautiful picture through the medium of music. Take it away, Johnny.
Okay.
You know, hearing Johnny sing by himself is rather putrid and boring. It's amazing what happens when you add others to the mix. Check this out.
You know, through modern technology, we're even able to do this. I'll tell you though about teamwork. You know, it's less about me and more about we.
Hi there. We all know the old saying that there's no I in team, but there's also no selfish hypocrisy in team either. Let me throw a dato in the mix.
You know, when people say no man is an island, I used to think, of course no man is a piece of land surrounded by a body of water. Then I realized what they mean. I think I get it.
Somebody once said that none of us is as smart as all of us. And I don't really know what that means, but I know I like it. Now watch me break out something special.
You know, I think we've made some pretty good points about teamwork and the value therein of it.
And if teamwork were a person, I'd love them as all get out.
All right, I think we made some headway on that. Pretty good.
But it makes sense, right? I mean, like I heard someone say that the church is somewhat like an orchestra. In the sense, we all have different personalities, we all have instruments that we like to play, we all like to play at different times, different desires, different functions, you know, all this kind of stuff. And on our own, we do okay. But when you put us all together, we make music. Right? And that's what this is about. I mean, here's a paraphrase of Genesis 11, but listen to the power of this verse. One of the most powerful verses in all of Scripture says, when people work together towards a common goal in unity, then nothing that they plan to do will be impossible for them. That's from the Tower of Babel. It says, when you work together, God even said they would have been successful at building this tower to get to heaven. So I had to mess up their languages, but that's it. So the real question is then, because it applies to us, is number one, what is a local church actually supposed to look like? What is this family supposed to look like? And number two, what is this family or this community actually engage in? And I think the summary is best found in Acts chapter 2 when it talks about the early church. It says, they were continually devoting themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship and to the breaking of bread and to prayer. And there Luke reveals to us the four purposes of a church family. And what we're all supposed to be engaged in. Number one, teaching and discipleship. Everybody say teaching and discipleship. I mean, Psalm chapter 1 says, blessed is the man whose delight is in the law, in the word of the Lord, and the law he meditates day and night. He is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaves do not wither.